The 1987 action film The Running Man, this was my first time looking through this movie, and I must admit that while some of the effects and the story ain't great, overall I still had a fun time with this one. Based off the 1982 book of the same name, the story of this one is that it takes place in a dystopia United States between the years of 2017 and 2019. Convicted criminals who are called runners, they must escape death at the hands of professional killers in a game called The Running Man, and from there is a movie that I thought was real cheesy, but it was in a good way, all in the matter of fun. I admit there are some things I like about this film: the acting, the one-liners, the action scenes. It all screams 1980s nostalgia, and for someone who grew up watching 1980s movies, I always appreciate these action films from that era not taking themselves too seriously. And the mere fact that the one-liners in this film, they're downright hysterical.
Here is Sub-Zero. Now, Plane Zero.
Don't forget to send me a copy.
Send that uplink, we can crack the code. Get it to make an underground or jam the network.
Jam the network.
That's right.
Jam it up your ass.
That's all right. Keep it.
What happened to Baza?
He had to split.
But I hope you leave enough room for my fist, because I'm going to ram it into your stomach and break your goddamn spine!
Yeah, that's Arnold Schwarzenegger and his one-liners in the 1980s. Now, to be honest, those one-liners hasn't aged particularly well, but they're great because they're so funny, and the mere fact that there are so many ridiculous things going on in this film, I actually found it quite entertaining. Overall, though, while not one of the worst movies of that decade, this doesn't do enough for me, in my personal opinion, to be considered the best either. Now, the story to this movie, to be honest, is not that great. Like Arnold Schwarzenegger, he plays Ben Richards. He's a pilot in the beginning of the film. Then he's wrongly framed for, disobeying orders, and so they make him to be the bad guy. And so for the rest of the film, it's him and his two other friends trying to survive The Running Man, this sadistic, twisted TV show where criminals come after him. And I'm saying to myself, for a 1980s movie, it's not that bad. I must admit, though, Arnold Schwarzenegger did a good job in this movie. Certainly one of the highlights of this film. He was already a big movie star when this film came out, starring in films such as The Terminator and the first Predator movie. And quite frankly, it's his charisma, it's his machismo, if you will. It's his toughness, basically, that really gets you invested with his character. Now, Jason Ventura, he actually plays Captain Freedom. And I was saying, it's an odd name, it's wacky, this whole film's over the top. But I thought his performance was good. And there's also some other wacky character names, such as Professor Zero. We have a character named Domino who's doing opera, he's dressed in Christmas lights. And it's over the top, like I mentioned, and I like that because for the time it worked. Had this film came out today, I would have highly criticized it. I would have said this is one of the worst films it had released nowadays. But for a time, it works for, the film that it is. Now, Maria Alonso, she actually did a decent job, I might say, with her character. She wasn't a great character, to be honest. But overall, she was just there to be the damsel in distress. Which is ironic because she really isn't. Like, she holds her own later on in this film. And I also will admit that the late Richard Dawson playing Damon Killian, he was a good antagonist. Like, you really hate this character, and not just that, but I also thought with him being a TV show host, he sold it pretty well. He's running this terrible TV show, and overall, I was really saying, his character, it was alright, even though he didn't get much character development. Nonetheless, though, when it comes down to it, this is your typical 1980s action film. It has the music, it has the cheesiness, it has the acting, and it has a script that really ain't that great, but overall, this is a movie I had highly enjoyed. I'm giving this film a 7 out of 10. I found this one pretty decent. Nothing extraordinary. This ain't brilliant. It's not really all that good of a film, but it's decent enough for me to enjoy it for what it is. And sure, a lot of people out there will probably say this movie's underrated, and while personally I wouldn't consider this one of Arnold Schwarzenegger's best movies, it's still a thrilling and entertaining movie you can sit down and have a great time with. At the end of the day though, if you somehow haven't seen this one yet, then check it out because it is well worth the time. And that is my review of the film, The Running Man. Okay, leave your comments down below in the section and let me know what you think about this movie. Alright, this is Slim Guy 172 saying, peace out.